That sounds good. I should see if someone has a metal detector.
Yeah, I have a small one. It's amazing what I've got in my bag.
All right.
$25. If you can find somebody that's got a really good.
You got some great stuff.
I think it's time capsule.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we should probably see it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good wow. You know, it's like the one guy asked me about the trophy, your city basketball team.
Anyway, and then somebody wants the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Office, he couldn't figure out how to get out of it. He figured out how to get out of it. So how to get in there? They built something in two pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
And they just wrapped around it and trapped it.
There you
The
go.
dinosaur was trapped.
And we've all been safe as a result.
We've all been safe.
How are you?
Hi, Lee.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
We wanted to have our committee. Dave is going to chair all this year.
Okay.
Because we're just having some servers. March 16th.
So what it's talking about, the mayor wants to get together. He wanted to come here and talk about it. So let's talk about it before you come here.
First round, that's
And improvements that he might propose for the intersection
Sure.
of Walnut Street and
you know,
whatever that
usually the first
intersection
one
is. that-
always takes the second
I
one,
said,
so just
good
to at
timing
least
because
get
of
the
the live
data from
buses
us.
and so forth.
check
So
right now.
we're gonna
that'd
try
be
to
awesome.
Is it early?
sit down and talk about
Yeah,
it. He's got
well,
a
do you know
big
what,
plan
he
for
said
that
he's available the
neighborhood there,
16th, so
which will start
I
increasing
actually
traffic
have
volumes.
until like a little after 11, so whatever time you guys say works for you.
Really what
I am
this does
clear.
for
I've
us
got a
tonight,
lunch appointment.
just
I'm
kicks it
clear
off
till
like
Okay,
architecture.
perfect, so we'll just need Keith
Some-
and
yeah.
then.
Yeah, so it
Call to order. Please rise and join me in a moment of silence, please. Anybody want to lead the pledge tonight?
I think Jacob.
Jacob, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jacob. Please be seated. Jacob, I can safely say that it hasn't been done that smoothly in a long time. So let's call our roll. I'm present. Dr. O'Neill? Present. Mr. Heater?
Present.
Mrs. Bales? Mrs. Barnes Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Irvin?
Present.
Mr. Lowe?
Present.
Thank you. At this point, We have Student Athletic Leadership Team, is that right? Okay, so who's coming up for us?
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Nora Quirk. I am the president of the Muncie Central Student Athlete Leadership Team, also known as the SALT team. So I think first off, we'll start off with introductions of everyone that we have here on behalf of the SALT team today.
So, hi, I'm Jacob Emmert. I am the vice president.
I'm Sophia Brandt. I'm secretary.
I'm Delaney Strange. I'm the social media coordinator.
Hi, I'm David Voss, and I'm the spirit leader.
So as stated earlier, we are the Student Athlete Leadership Team, also known as the SALT team. And on the SALT team, we work to promote sportsmanship and build leadership skills throughout all Muncie Central student athletes and all athletic programs. We also work to provide feedback and assistance to all athletic and other administrators throughout the building.
So, as Nora said, we represent over 40 student athletes who have been named to the leadership team. These student athletes were selected by their head coaches of each sport. In addition to the qualities listed here, the coaches were asked to identify those who are visible leaders on their team, whether through their words or by their example.
The executive committee was elected through an open vote of the entire group. These positions were created by the full team, and candidates were either nominated or volunteered. The full executive team was elected could not be here tonight due to many of them being multi-sport athletes, which we hope you will all understand.
Our first course of action was to decide where we stood as a student athlete group and what we believed was going well. We performed a SWOT analysis and identified these items as ones we should promote. We believe that this has had positive results throughout the year. We also believe that we should do our part in addressing problems that were within our control. We felt that the student attendance should be our first hurdle to overcome. We feel that our efforts in this area have been positive and hope that it has not gone unnoticed.
We hope to continue these efforts in the future and to pass on these qualities to future Bearcats. We hope that a culture of maximizing our positives while addressing and overcoming our negatives will be a self-sustaining quality that future Bearcats will carry on long after we graduate. Thank you for having us, and to quote Mr. Walker, go Bearcats.
So, Nora and the rest of the team, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Is there anything that you're needing from the board or administration that you'd like to bring to our attention this evening?
Not necessarily. I think more of what we've compiled here to bring you all today is more of like the positive things that we see personally within Muncie Central. I think one thing that we might want to look into doing is branching into the middle schools and branching into the elementary schools. So I think that one thing that if we were to have any help, it would be making sure that our message is getting out to the other Muncie community schools.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on their mind that they want to talk about?
Nobody else seems to have anything else.
Ask what, like, sports you all are involved in?
Yeah, so I am a member of the soccer team, the swim team, and the tennis team.
I'm a member of the tennis team and the unified track team.
I play soccer and I run track.
I run track and cross country and swim.
I also play soccer, and I also run track.
So what are your track events?
I run mid to long distance, so 4x8, mile, 2 mile.
Okay. Anybody else?
I run long distance as well.
I do too. I run 800, 4x8.
And then the mile and two?
No, more mid-distance.
So I can remember when I was your age thinking that 2 miles was forever, and now it seems longer. So what's your 2 mile time?
2 mile, I think it was 10:40 maybe?
10:40?
I don't know. I was injured for a good portion of last season, and so I kind of try to forget it.
So 10:40 is your fastest 2-mile time?
That's incredible.
I don't know. I'm under 5 in the mile.
Hey,
That's all.
tell Mr. Holloway that when I want to hear from him, if you want to tell me it's 10:40, then we gotta. We're gonna adjourn the meeting and get you an agent.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Swimmer, you're just swimming? So what do you swim?
I swim the 200, the 500, and breaststroke.
What about our pool? Is it cold, warm, love?
It's pretty cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Need some warmth to it?
Yes.
Just heat it up.
Thank you.
Okay. If you need anything, let Mr. Holloway know, and then if he's not responsive, let Dr. Reynolds know.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have really a neat recognition tonight, academic all-state wrestler recognition. So who's...
Hello, I'm AJ Bradley. I'm the head wrestling coach at Muncie Central. And today we have the pleasure of introducing to you Titus Waters and Michael Dunn. Both of these young men made academic all-state in wrestling, and they actually made it twice, and I'll explain that in a second. But what makes this so prestigious is in wrestling, it's all the kids, all the juniors, so they were up against close to about 1,000 kids total. And not only did they make academic all-state this year, but Titus here came in 10th out of the entire state, and Michael came in as 21st, and we're the only school that had 2 kids in the top 25, which is pretty awesome. And also, when we took their unweighted GPA, because they're both in AP classes and other classes, they also qualified as all-state as well in just their regular GPA. So they're one of the very few people who actually qualified with their weighted GPA and their unweighted GPA. So it was a pretty amazing thing.
So tell me, Titus, what weight do you wrestle?
220.
220. And how did your season end up?
I made it to semi-state, and then in the first round, I faced the returning state qualifier, and it was a 1-point match. The score ended up being higher at the end because I went for a last-second throw, and my ending record was like 32-5.
Wow. So, Titus, you're a junior?
Yeah.
What do you want to do when you graduate?
I've thought about like doing engineering and stuff. I'm not sure.
College? No college?
I know there's a couple colleges looking at me for football and stuff, but I haven't decided.
Okay. You know who has one of the best wrestling programs in the country?
Here it comes.
Wabash College.
I knew that was coming.
So I'm going to keep telling you. I mean,
Just saying.
so if you want to look at that, you let me know, and we'll get you over there.
Okay, I will.
And then, young man, what'd you wrestle?
I wrestled 195, but I was out this season because I dislocated my shoulder twice.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your shoulder. You come back next year?
I don't know.
Depends on your shoulder, I suspect,
yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
We'll see how that ends up.
What are your plans?
I'm going to go to college and become go into the computer sciences field.
Okay. If you need any help as you make your plans, let any person on this board know, and we'll be happy to sit down with you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Spar with one of our lovely, any takers? We got, no?
I would like to say this on Michael's behalf. It was pretty amazing that He dislocates his, it happened in football, and then he was healed. And then like 2 weeks before the first match starts, he does it again, and the doctors say, you're done. And instead of quitting, he stuck around with us. He managed, he helped the younger ones, and, just showed the type of person he is. So it's pretty awesome that he got this award.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, Coach.
I just want to say I got to watch regionals, so I got to see. We won't talk about what happened with you at regionals, but you all should be really proud of the team, especially you, Coach, the team that you guys have created. There's so much talent. It was so fun to watch. I lost my voice at regional, but super proud of you guys. This is a huge achievement. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job. Dr. K?
Well, I have a few things to update you on this evening. So the first one is this morning, I was given this book, and it's called Why I Love You More, and it's written by Dr. Dia Bell. So we now have an author in our administration. And she told me she's already working on her second book, so I'm just really proud of her and her accomplishments. This coming up week with our National Institute for Excellence in Teaching, we have 8 master teachers, as well as Dia and Dylin, who will be heading to Dallas, Texas for professional development. And so we're just thrilled that they're able to have that opportunity. I have some other great news. Our robotics team, Southside Middle School robotics team, led by Brian Derome, qualified for the VEX Robotics World Competition in Dallas, Texas, beginning May 3rd. And I spoke with the George and Francis Ball Foundation, and they graciously provided a rapid grant, and so we'll have funding to send 5 students and 3 chaperones to go to Texas. So that's really exciting for us. At our field house, we have a new sound system that's going to be installed at the end of the month, and the Ball Brother Foundation, our foundations are really good to us. They provided funding to be able to get that sound system in place. So I know, Jeff, you'll be happy that we now have a new sound system going in. We also, in our foundation, this time as the community foundation, awarded some Robert P. Bell education grants. 3 teachers from East Washington Academy, Sarah Finn, Beth Bueller, and Ashley Flannery, all will be recipients of this grant. This month in February, well, actually last month in February, we had our mid-year ADM count, and our state count was at 4,900 students. In the fall, it was at 4,926. Shows we're down 26 students, but we had 19 mid-year grads. Typically, school districts across the state always see a decline in the second ADM count. And so once again, we still are holding our own, which we were up by quite a few students in the fall, so we feel really proud for where we still are. This past week, we had SAT testing at our high school. Kenna Jones oversees that process. First time that this was a new state requirement where all of our juniors had to test. And I just have to give kudos to the high school for getting students in, and that really went flawless. So we were very proud of that. And then lastly, tonight, if you see more people out in the hallway, it's the MAC open house. Caleb had it scheduled on a different night, and because of a weather delay or cold weather, he had to reschedule, wants to get it in before students make their decisions about what programs are going to be in next year. And so if you finish this meeting and you want to learn more about the MAC, head down and there will be an open house going on. So that's it for me.
Any questions for Dr. K? Okay, thank you. Do we have public comments? None? Okay, thank you. We are at the point of our consent agenda. There were some changes made to that. Before we move on to the consent agenda, there are a couple items I want to draw attention to. I want to thank all of those folks who are listed in the packet who made monetary donations to both Central and Northside Middle School. We had a total of $3,300 donated to those two schools by members of our Muncie Community School family and supporters. So thank you to all of you who gave donations between last meeting and this meeting. I want to recognize a couple people who are very important, incredibly important to Muncie Community Schools. Sharon Crane started teaching in Muncie Community Schools, and this is not a misstatement, nor is it an exaggeration. She started teaching when Lyndon Johnson was president of the United States. She's been with Muncie Community Schools 54 years, a remarkable run. We recognized her, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago at an event. And she's a speech-language pathologist at Longfellow, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
So that is a remarkable, remarkable run. She has announced her retirement. And so thank you to Ms. Crane and all of the years that she has provided to Muncie Community Schools, our students and families. Just unbelievable. The second one is near and dear to all of us. Dylan Phelps, who after 23 years of service in a number of different roles, all of them heavy lifting. She has done a marvelous job. And, you know, since this board was constituted, I believe, in July of 18, she has been incredibly supportive, always positive, has done a great job with recruitment. And we are really, really going to miss you. So, but we wish you the very best in your retirement. So, you know, I was trying to think of the analogy. I mean, all the jobs you've held over the course of the last 23 years. There was a Ball State grad, Dave, about your vintage. Merv Rettenman. Merv Rettenman played all these positions for the Reds. I mean, that's like, you're like the Merv Rettenman of Muncie Community Schools.
Certainly.
So, again, thank you. You're going to be with us for a while, right? And if you change your mind, after the summer, I mean, if you go home and your husband and you just, I don't know, it's not working, you can come back. Okay?
You know what I'm going to miss the most about her is the smile.
Yeah.
She's always smiling. Thank you for your smile.
Always positive.
Makes my day.
So thank you.
And can I just say to her too, like, not only has she given 23 years, but she's driven back and forth across the highway from Indianapolis every day that you've been here. So thank you. You could have served anywhere. You stayed with MCS, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
People know this, but I was going to retire about 3 years ago. And Jim pulled me aside and said, no, we're just getting started here. I need you. And he's the biggest reason why I stayed.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Dr. K and the cabinet, and if I start naming, everybody would be here all night, and then you won't like me.
Well,
Thank you so much.
we need to, I can't get you a trip to Hawaii, but maybe we can do something as we get closer to the end of the year. So thank you so much, sincerely. With that, are there any additional questions concerning the personnel agenda? And then once we do that, we'll introduce one of the hires. Any additional questions? We have that amended item in there, right? That made it.
No, you need to announce that amendment.
Okay, so the amended change to the football coach salary is reduced to $59,000. And then the stipend, the athletic stipend for the coach is increased to $16,000. So that amendment is on the table as well. So with that amendment, any additional questions concerning the consent agenda? Okay.
Do we need to approve the amendment?
As part of the consent agenda?
As part of the consent agenda.
Yeah, let's go ahead and approve it as.
I make that motion.
Yeah, we can combine them. as all part of it. Yes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. We will show that passes. Okay, Mr. Paget.
Well, we're going to start
Well,
with Chris.
Chris is going to introduce Mr. Paget, okay?
If you don't mind.
That'd be fine. yeah.
Okay. You know, Diane, you broke me in. It's my first principal job ever, and I've lasted 6 years in some unique circumstances here in Muncie, and I couldn't have done it without you, so congratulations. I've always appreciated your leadership and friendship. And Sharon used to work for us as well, so wherever Sharon is, I'm sure she's got a smile on her face. So President Williams, Dr. K, members of the board, central office team, and community members, tonight I have the privilege of introducing you to the next head football coach here at Muncie Central High School. So when this search began a few months ago, Jeff and I sat down as our high school athletic director, and we tried to map out a list of the characteristics that we felt like we needed in our next leader of the football program. Those characteristics, and we kept it to 5, were someone who had organizational skills, where they had been a head coach and understand what it takes to run every aspect of a high school football program. Also someone who had program development skills, someone that has built and maintained a quality feeder system and is actively working and involved in that system. Someone who is an effective communicator, someone that can communicate with all of our stakeholders throughout the program what exactly our expectations and standards are and exactly how we will achieve them. Also someone who has core professionalism, someone that is professional in all that they do and how they carry themselves, knowing that they're a direct representative and reflection of our school and our entire community. And finally, someone who's not afraid to embrace being the face of our program, someone who will be an ambassador within our community, within the county, within our conference, and within the state of Indiana of Muncie Central and our football program. So when we began the process of reaching out to several folks within our high school football coaching community, we tried to generate a list of individuals that would meet these characteristics that we outlined. This included several current head coaches, some former head coaches, and some current and former administrators. Every time we reached out to someone, we started to get this common theme throughout our network, and that common theme started to emerge as we needed to talk to one person, and that was Kyle. In fact, one coach told us that if they were in our position, the absolute first phone call that they would make is to Kyle. Now that coach may regret that because in exactly 164 days, we play them week 1 at home. Coach Overholt at Delta. So we established the characteristics we wanted in our new coach. We reached out to our network to see if we couldn't find some leads, and then we started to see if there was any interest. So Jeff and I cold called Kyle a few weeks ago, and we asked if he had any interest. He had to call us back because I don't think he actually knew who we were. But the reason he didn't know is because we pulled him out of the weight room because he was in there working out his players. Kyle, and I still don't know why, but I have a hint, agreed to at least come and talk to Jeff and myself. During our first meeting, we met for nearly 2 hours about our program, the opportunities available, and some of the challenges that exist. Kyle was very interested as well in how Muncie Central operated academically. He is a teacher first, and he made that very clear to Jeff and I. We had a great conversation. As anybody who knows me knows that I will spend hours talking about our early college program and all the things we do and our great teachers do in trying to make sure that we meet our students' needs and ultimately get them across the stage for graduation. I will also tell you that Kyle does his homework. He's a tireless worker. In that first meeting, he had already watched every one of our game films multiple times. He told us exactly what he felt like we could do instantly to improve. He knew every player on the field and who was graduating and who was returning. So Jeff and I left that meeting knowing that we had something special at our hands. So we conducted interviews a few weeks later. Nora was a part of that. Nora's fantastic, by the way. Kyle was the unanimous choice, and I know Nora can attest to that, the unanimous choice of our interview committee without question. What I want this board to know and what I want our community to know is that Kyle is a game changer for us. He's a game changer for our school and our entire community. Not only does he meet all 5 of the characteristics that Jeff and I outlined at the start of the search, he has a passion to build a program into something this entire community can be proud of. He has done that where he is currently leaving at Centerville. He also has a huge desire to give back. In the hours that we spent talking and meeting with Kyle, he told us about some of the struggles he had growing up and that he wanted to be in a place where he could make an impact on his students that would transcend football and where he felt he was needed. Muncie Central needs Kyle Padgett, and we are so thankful that he said yes. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you the newest member of our Bearcat family, physical education educator and head football coach, Kyle Padgett.
I thank you for having me, and sorry we'll get out of here and stop ruining your school board meeting soon. That's my beautiful wife, Sam, and my 5-year-old Artie, my soon-to-be 3-year-old Wade, and then Homer just turned 1 last Sunday. He turned 1 and all of a sudden found his voice, and it's been fun ever since. My wife is also an educator, former volleyball coach. She coached for years at New Palestine and Cecina, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how important she is to everything. Told you I'd be back. Thank you all for having me this evening, and I just got a couple quick things I want to say. I don't want to take too much of anyone's time. But first I want to start by thanking Chris and Jeff for calling me. It's a phone call I always remember. Music was blaring, everything's going crazy in the weight room. We're preparing for a weightlifting meet, which I'm still hosting for our Centerville kids tomorrow. And I asked them if I could call them right back. Then I went and stepped. I honestly, I'm not going to lie, and I don't even know if you guys know this, but I answered the phone because I never answer if I don't know the number, but we were waiting on a plumber to call. And it was so another good part to the story. But thank you all for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to lead your football program and join this great community. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention how I got to the point to stand before you now. 6 years ago, Centerville took an opportunity on a young guy that thought he could lead a program, and we accomplished some pretty remarkable things, not just in football, but in our school and our community in those 6 years, and I will be forever grateful for everything I learned from there. At our first meeting, Chris and Jeff shared with me their vision for Muncie Central High School and its athletic programs, and I knew right off the bat something felt right about this. And I won't mention, I was in another recruiting process for another high school, and I quickly called them and told them that I'd like to remove my name from consideration because something felt right here. I will say this, I consider myself a historian of sorts. From what I can garner, football's been played in Muncie high schools since 1926, which is nearly 100 years of high school football in this community, which not many communities around the state could say that. And I consider myself very fortunate now to be able to be a part of this long story tradition of high school football in Muncie, Indiana, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. However, it's important everyone in this room knows and will shortly know this is about much more than football. This is going to be about creating a culture of accountability, discipline, integrity, and trust. The next time that the SALT team is standing up here talking, there will be football players present to do so. Not only for our football team, but for our entire school and community. Culture drives expectations and belief. Belief and expectations drive behavior. Behavior drives habits, and habits create your future. And it all starts with culture, and that's where we're going to start tomorrow. This process is going to be about building and fostering our culture daily. Our culture will believe in serving others because everyone can lead, because everyone can serve. It's from Dr. Martin Luther King. That's my favorite quote. First biography I read in 4th grade. Our culture will practice compassion and empathy. We're going to find a purpose larger than ourselves, and we're going to suspend our egos and act for one another, both on and off the field. Our culture will be about building integrity. Another one of my favorite quotes. I have a lot of quotes. You're going to see them everywhere, but how you do anything is how you do everything, and that is something our kids will hear on a daily basis, not just my football players, but my students. From a football standpoint, I'm not going to stand here and guarantee championships. What I can guarantee is that we will play fast, we will play up tempo, and we will play disciplined football that concentrates on blocking, tackling, and pursuit, whistle to whistle. We will be organized, thorough, and prepared. We will honor the great game of football by respecting our opponents and playing hard for 48 minutes every Friday night. We will strive to build a legacy of physicality and attention to detail that our opponents admire and fear. And I'm truly excited for the future of Muncie Central High School and Muncie Central football, and it's time to get to work. Thank you.
So, anybody have any questions for Coach Padgett? Any questions? So, those of you, some of you may know the story at Centerville, but you took over a program, and I'm familiar with the Tri-Eastern Conference. I went to school down there.
Okay.
I mean, you took over a program that was a proud program that was in a bad spot.
Correct, yes.
And last year, what'd you do? 10-1?
We went 10-1. Would have been 11-1, but a team dodged us, but yes.
Yeah. So turned around a program. Prior to that, at Cecina, right?
Yes.
Did you Cecina High School?
Yeah, my wife and I both actually graduated from there, and then I coached there for 10 years prior. Was a part of 2 state championship runs, 5 sectional championships, 2 regional championships.
Did you play at Valpo?
I
Is that
played at
right?
Valpo, yeah.
Okay. So we discovered something tonight. When I was in law school in Bloomington, my neighbor in married student housing was Mike Padgett, and that happens to be Kyle's uncle. So small world.
Yeah, so I've got a lawyer.
So you got but I came to know Mike and driving back and forth from Indianapolis one summer. He had a job up there, as did I. He was at the Secretary of State's office, I think. And I can tell you that the Padgett family is well regarded in the Marion County community. So welcome to Muncie. We'll look forward to having you. And don't ever worry about noises the kids make. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
There is no other purpose to what we do. And kids your age, I'd be worried if they weren't making noise.
Yeah. They're actually doing really well right now too. So. Yes.
So welcome, and if you need anything, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
We just got started.
There is an item that I neglected to cover in the consent agenda. We need a motion to add an overnight field trip for Northside Middle School State, is it basketball tourney or baseball? Basketball tourney. Departing Muncie, March 11th, departing Bloomington, March 13th, games on Saturday the 12th and 13th. There are 4 rooms at $1,032, which is being paid with grant funds. Did I miss anything there? Okay, I apologize for overlooking that. Any questions regarding that addition? That is a change. We probably need to go ahead and have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
We got moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll show that addition. Cindy, I apologize. We are on to Mr. Jerome, and before we get there, would you tell Brian on behalf of the board how absolutely proud we are of the effort, and that is amazing, and so please let him know.
I'll do that, and I think he'll probably be back in front of the board probably next month just to talk about for the approval of the overnight field trip. So
Okay,
he'll
thank
probably be here
you,
in
thank
person.
you. Please let him know.
Yep, I will.
With that, we'll turn to the financial report.
Thank you. Presented in your board packet were the financial results for the month of February. That's just the 2 months of a 12-month financial report. Obviously, at the end of December, that's when it will become final. But we're at least on track to still receive a little over little under 42 million in the state basic grant is still expected to be received, and we're still receiving $3.5 million on a monthly basis for the state basic grant. Payroll is almost the same as it was a year ago, and I think Dr. K had mentioned earlier that our February count was right at 4,900 students, which was not down by just about 29 students from the September count. Our cash balance at the end of the month for all funds, the total checkbook, a little over $35.6 million, still expecting to be just under 40 million at the end of December, still expecting to have a positive cash flow in the education fund at the end of 2022. We're still paying back per the state loan agreement for our $12 million loan that's been paid back at $50,000 a month. So we literally have now paid back $1 million towards that $12 million loan. We have $11 million outstanding, and that's on a graduated scale. We'll start paying more as the months go by. That pretty much completes the financial report, unless there's any other questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jerome? Entertain a motion to approve the financial.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have permission to void checks.
Yes, thank you. For purposes of State Board of Accounts, every year I like to bring to the school board permission. Anytime we have checks that are over 2 years old, we have permission to void them, and then we ask the school board permission to void those checks, revert them back into the originating fund. If the originating fund was a grant, then it goes back into the education or operation fund. This group of checks is a little over $6,546.71, and we're asking the board permission to void these checks.
Any questions regarding the voided checks? Any of those made out?
No.
Move to approve before they're made out to Jim.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Did you get the second on that, Cindy? I second. Permission to approve notice of future project.
Yes, thank you. Also included in your board packet is permission to authorize a notice to have a public hearing for future projects. What we'd like to do here is we're asking the school board permission tonight, authorize the notice of a public hearing for future capital projects in our district for some, I guess you'd call them major capital improvements. What we've tried to do is identify some major items, and we did this through the process of meeting as a facility committee really over the last 2 years. And I've attached in your board packet a pretty lengthy list of many things we need to do, but the most urgent things we've tried to boil down into this group of items here. The Muncie Central High School football stadium, which is 1950, taking a look also at the football field and the conversion of that into a turf field, and also taking a look at the 1928 Muncie Fieldhouse, heating and cooling system, electrical system. We also have some more roof sections in the district, as well as some floor cover needs at Muncie Central High School and some other areas in the district. So we would like to start a process of working with a bond counsel, legal bond counsel of Ice Miller, as well as working with our architects to help us bring some of these projects to life. Our facility committee had met diligently. It seems like we met almost every quarter, and we just kept coming up to the same conclusions. There's many needs in the district, and this grouping of projects would probably amount to a little over $5.8 million for this first grouping of projects. And what we'd like to do is start that process and see what we can do with the design process. What is so hard to predict? A year ago, we were looking at situations where if you were going to do a project and sell bonds, interest rates weren't doing much. Now it's in a different situation with interest rates. But our needs of our district are still there, and we have some big long-term debt that's coming off our books here within the next year and a half, 2 years. So the timing was right to look at this for a new wave of improvements. Doing big projects such as this, you just don't have the normal funding to take the funds out of your education fund or your operation fund. The funds just don't. You just don't have it. You just don't have that to do it. So that's why school boards and school districts entertain the idea of selling bonds to finance these types of projects. So that's really what we're talking about here to get this process started. So.
Okay, any questions? Any questions for Mr. Jerome? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve to give notice.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. We'll show that to Carrie's. Internet vendor.
Thank you. This particular item that was in your board packet is we're asking the school board permission to approve our internet vendor, and this would be paid with our current E-rate funding. This would be through AT&T, and this is a cheaper rate over the next 36 months than what we were paying. So it's actually a savings of $470 per month over the term of this agreement. So we're asking the board permission to accept this bid from AT&T for the internet vendor.
Okay, any questions regarding the internet vendor?
Just a quick one. Do they provide all the equipment in the buildings? Or do we provide that? They just provide the incoming service?
This right now is just the internet.
Just the internet?
Just
So they
providing the
provide it
internet.
up to a
Yeah,
point of
there's certain-
receipt?
Certain
Got it.
equipment.
Okay.
And certain things we are able to do with E-rate funds, and some pays for hardware, some for the software.
So all the hardware that we
Right.
disperse around to give good coverage, we take care of?
And we're really
Okay.
fortunate to have E-rate funds, federal E-rate funds to do this.
Great.
Otherwise, schools would have a difficult time doing that.
Yeah. Move to approve?
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding, any additional questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, show that passes. We have, at this point, summer programs and partnerships is Dr. Bell.
If I could, Dr. Bell, since I got to turn my microphone on, I'm very excited, but Mrs. Phelps was the first, she hired me for my first administrative job. So I don't know what to thank her or blame her, but, again, thank you, Mrs. Phelps, for all your service. Hey, before you tonight, Dr. Bell and I have been working really hard with our partners and our schools to offer some pretty amazing summer programming for our students. We've divided it into elementary and secondary sections, and then you'll also see what we are going to sponsor and offer. Then you'll also see our partnership programming in there as well. So, Dr. Bell.
Good evening, everyone. President Williams, School Board of Trustees, Dr. K, and everyone else here this evening. I need a new lunch buddy because Diane has been my lunch buddy for the last couple of years, so I'll be going to different offices for a new lunch buddy. But it's true, it's a lot of wisdom that I have gained through those conversations and that lunchtime. So we're excited and ready for our summer school, looking at summer school programming for our students. I know it seems odd to think about summer school in early March, but we want to be prepared and plan ahead so that we can have our highly effective teachers on board and all of our students registered and sign up. And so with our elementary programs, we'll continue to have our third grade literacy camp, which is, as someone said earlier, we're doing iRead right now. And so for June, we will start June 6th through the 17th and have our third grade iRead remediation for students that do not pass. In March, we will have them register and sign up. We plan to host that summer school at Northview and at Grissom. Some of our other schools will still be under construction. And so we will do that at Northview and at Grissom. And those numbers will be dictated based on students that do not test. The retest date will be June 16th and 17th. We also are excited to partner with Ball State again and Stacy Allred's program to offer our June summer camp out at Camp Adventure. We're always excited to use our Camp Adventure facilities, and that will run Monday through Thursday, starting with our first Monday in June and go through the whole month, Monday through Thursday. Students will have breakfast and lunch out there, and we will provide transportation. In that partnership, there will be some grants will cover a lot of that cost and transportation, and our staff that we will have out there along with Stacy and Ball State students that will help run the program. Next, we'd like to continue to offer our robotics camp, and that is a week long for our rising 5th graders and 6th graders. So students that are currently in 4th and 5th will be able to attend our robotics camp. And we, at this point, look at hosting it at Northview. Depending on our numbers, last year we had 3 teachers to teach this. But again, we will look at that based on the number of interests and students that sign up. Again, funded by grants and being able to purchase those robotic kits. And then we also see this as a program that leads into our high school robotics and VEX programs. The other opportunity we're excited to extend through the summers for our newcomers, our students that have come to the United States, that will continue with their English skills, reading and math during the summer, looking at June 6th through the 17th for all ages. Again, we're looking at Northview. Many of our students right now are attending Northview. That's an environment they're used to. Their principal, Ms. White, will continue to work with that program over the summer. And again, we have a lot of our funding will come from grants that we will provide. Then we will offer a camp adventure opportunity again in July. And so our June camp are our current second graders going into third grade, and they've already started having family nights this month to introduce that program to parents, to get parents signed up at our main schools that we are trying to focus on first, which would be Longfellow, Southview, Grissom, and EWA. And then for July, we're going to look at our current third graders and fourth graders that will attend camp in July. And this is very similar to what we did last year. It's a recap of June, but with the older group of students. And we anticipate 80 to 100. Our goal is 100, but we're, really pleased. We'll be pleased with 80, but we really are shooting for 100 students in that program. Again, transportation, breakfast, and lunch will be provided, along with literacy and fun outdoors activities. We have our youth writing camp. This is a continuation from last year, and that'll run June 13th through the 24th at Ball State. It is for students in 4th and 5th grade, and then we will also register those students through some of our grants that we have and are partnering with Ball State for that program. Another opportunity will be the comic book writing camp, and that is new this year to offer to our students. And then the youth poetry writing camp. And again, this is through the Indiana Writing Project with our partnership through Ball State. It will be June 20th through the 24th, and it's students that are entering the 4th and 5th grade level. We also are excited we have a lot of partnerships, and we're excited about our partnerships. MP3, sponsored by Ball State, that's been housed at Longfellow, will run their summer program starting July 11th through July 29th, and it is kindergarten through third grade students. Again, our programs in the schools are half day. Our camp adventure programs are 8 to 3 every day. And then this is provided by a Ball State grant as well to help support that. Along with that, we've been doing our Grissom Gold program, which is partnered with the YMCA, and it is through other grants that we have, our 21st Century grant and some other grant funds that will support that. Literacy camp will be 9 to 12, July 11th through the 29th. Now we are offering we'll be offering a day camp. That's not on the PowerPoint here, but the Y will be offering a day camp at Grissom starting May 31st through July 22nd. And a lot of our current Grissom Go students will sign up for that day camp. And then after the 22nd, the YWCA will use their facilities as we're preparing our buildings for school. But our Grissom Go students, which will be our K through 5th grade students, will be in the building until the 25th. And so they can come at 7:30, like their day will start, and stay till 5:30. But during that July time, they'll be there with a higher focus on literacy. We also are always excited to do our Kickoff to Kindergarten, and that's an opportunity for our incoming kindergartners to have an experience, 1-week experience in their home school. And so this will be housed at each of our elementary schools. Traditionally, our kindergarten teachers have signed up to teach that class. And it's really getting students acclimated to the building, knowing where the nurse's station is, the restroom, and really learning the kindergarten day process during that 1 week. That is half day. Again, breakfast and lunch will be provided to students. And a lot of times they'll have the fire truck come to them, and different speakers and visitors will come to the school site to visit and meet the children. We also have partnered with the Boys and Girls Club, and they'll continue to maintain their summer camp. They like using our Southside Middle School building, and that is, they normally do kindergarten through 8th graders in that program, and that will start June and go through July 29th. That is all-day summer camp, and the registration is through the Boys and Girls Club, and their fees are really pretty reasonable for the Boys and Girls Club. With a lot of the partners that I've mentioned, I meet with them monthly, like the Boys and Girls Club, the Grissom Gold. We have monthly meetings just to talk about how the programs are doing in our schools right now, and then what we like to see in the summer with academics. We want kids to have fun, but there's fun ways to do reading and math and to reiterate, some of those mastery of those skills. This is a new program to have a Saturday session weekend writing. That sounds fun because, as Dr. K said, I've been doing some writing of my own, and so I might even go and check that out. It is offered July 9th through August 13th at Ball State on Saturdays, and so we're excited for that for our 4th and 5th graders. Are there any questions for elementary at this time? I know I kind of went by fast.
So did I miss one? Did I miss our literacy camp with Susan Tancock? That's going to be, did I miss it, Dia?
You did not miss it. I missed it on our PowerPoint.
So that is one that's going to be held at the library
Next door to Southview. Sorry about that.
for 1st and 2nd grade students. So it's our literacy for all students across the district.
And that will be with Susan Tancock and a Muncie teacher that's already agreed to do that over the summer.
Rochelle, who's the interventionist who did her internship under Dr. Bell and did a great job for us.
So, our expectations, I guess, knowing about the learning loss and knowing what the pandemic's done and knowing the progress that we want to make, do we have a process of identifying, we know which kids are in the greatest need, right?
Yes.
And so what do we do to encourage or communicate or get those kids in these programs?
And so that was part of the family night that we've had for 2nd grade. That has been to pinpoint those students in 2nd grade. Also with our master teachers, our principals, and interventionists, we're identifying students based on our iReady scores. And iReady, we give the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year assessments. And so we are using our student assistance coordinators, we're using family navigators, our school counselors, teachers, reaching out because instead of a flyer home or an email, I'm better if I call on the phone or meet me at the door at dismissal to say, hey, we have this program, will you come in and sign up? Now for our June camp, it's a lot of paperwork that parents have to sign because those are the requirements from Ball State. And so that's why they're coming into the buildings, having a family night just for 2nd grade to get those parents in there. They're doing a presentation, and then they are helping people fill out the application form for that. And so we'll do those kinds of things for all of our programs. Once they're approved, then we'll push it out to the teachers, the principals, so that we can make sure we know what students that need to be targeted and a good way of getting a hold of parents instead of, old school way of a flyer going home and whoever signed up, signed up. We have targeted students that will benefit from our program.
Great, thank you.
Well, follow-up question to Dave's. Do you know then what your participation level is in terms of quantity of students? What was it last year for the elementary grouping? Different students, is it 100, 200, 300?
Yes, we had over 200.
Over 200.
When we look at our summer camps. We maxed out because we also, my intern, that's a lot of what she did was track attendance and then track, each program. And so the number is loose. I've
Sure.
given a report
No.
to Dr. K before, but we were over 400 students that we served last summer that I tracked, and I tracked elementary.
And then we also share that with Gerald Cassidy at Ball State University, and then he's doing a little bit of evaluative type of work, comparing students who participate and looking at the different programs. And then he's going to give us over time some feedback, because if you noticed, all of these are funded through the state or federal learning loss grants. So those, some will be going away next summer and the others will be going away 2024. And then we'll have to make some intentional decisions of which programs we really get the best benefit.
Yeah, so if we have about, I don't know, pick a number, 1,800 students in elementary, that's a 25%. That's pretty good.
Because
Yeah.
our different programs
Yeah.
are targeting different ages.
Right.
And to meet their needs individually.
Right.
And we're able now to provide bus transportation, which that's a game changer for getting our kids to camp or summer
Thank you.
programs.
Dr. Reynolds?
All right. Hey, we'll head on to, thank you, Dr. Bell. We'll head on to discussing some of our middle school opportunities. As we wrapped up last summer and started this school year, we realized that we wanted to increase our opportunities for our middle school students. So intentionally reached out to some partners about how we could do that, pick the brains of our principals and our kids to see what we could do to get them excited. One new opportunity that we'll be offering this summer is a Summer Career Connect program. It's going to be a week-long program with partnering with the project leadership. It will be long half-day sessions where students will work on preparing for college and careers, good student study habits, good life skills, types of activities sponsored by project leadership. And then for the other 2 hours of the day, they will work through our Career Center and learn more about the opportunities that we have here at the Career Center. So they'll get to go through, do hands-on, do fun things that our MAC kids are doing right now. So this was another new addition for this year, the Middle School Personal Interest Camp. So how can we get middle school kids excited about anything? So that's a tough one, right? So I have one of my own. So we thought let's talk about doing a summer interest camp. If you're interested in band or choir, robotics, sports and work, and that one actually came from Mr. Raiders at South. If you're interested in the sports, we're going to talk about maybe not only doing some sport activities, but also kind of that management side, the analytics side of it to get folks excited, hopefully, about coming and attending our summer interest camp. This will be really arranged and depending on our interest, how many kids we can get signed up and how many folks we can get to participate. I sent out a kind of a quick poll of our teachers who would be interested. I didn't get a whole lot of interest back, but let's make sure we get some good dates and some butts and seats. And I think we'll have some folks interested in doing these camps. And again, too, we might look at the dates and the times, but really the goal is to offer all these camps and get folks excited and into our schools in the summertime, especially those middle school kids. This partnership is not new. We started this last year, but again, it was from that learning loss grant that Dr. K mentioned. That was a late grant, I think, application for these folks that applied for it, and it didn't get the interest that we wanted to in the summer. I think we only had 12 girls participate at Southside last year, but it was an awesome experience for this girls STEM camp. Again, sponsored through the learning loss funds that the state and federal government are providing. We're partnering with IUPUI, and Dr. Crystal leads that charge, and she is fabulous. It's a terrific hands-on experience. I would call it a long half day again, from 8:30 to 1, where breakfast and lunch are provided, but they do tons of hands-on experience and also some of those life skills and team building exercises. We'll again host the orientation camp for our incoming sixth graders. Really had pretty good participation last year. I think between the two middle schools, we had nearly 200 of our 400 kids come in for the orientation camps. We again partner with Project Leadership to do some of those life skills activities, and then it's more of a fun camp. Scavenger hunts, how to use the locker, figuring out the scary cafeteria, all those things that middle school kids and new middle school parents fear when they send their kids to those giant buildings. So again, another good opportunity for our incoming sixth graders. New this year, again through the Learning Loss Grant, is a youth math exploration camp. So Dr. Gatza has been working with our secondary math folks, and specifically targeting our middle school math teachers this summer. So this is all school year. So he's going to take that work and expand it to a summer exploration camp at Ball State, again offered from 1 to 4 for our middle school kids, grades 6 through 8. Like Dr. Bell mentioned, we will continue again this year with partnering with the Indiana Writing Project, and again covered through the Learning Loss Grant, that our kids will not have to pay to participate in those programs. Dr. Benko, who is our PDS liaison, like Dr. Gatza has been working with our folks since last summer and all school year. What a beautiful partnership to offer this and have our kids come in and work with somebody that really knows who we are and what we bring to the table. New this year, just like the elementary, we'll have a comic book and a writing camp, and in conjunction with the youth poetry camp, hosted again by Ball State and sponsored by the Indiana Writing Project, and again offered for our middle school 6th through 8th grade students. Also, like Dr. Bell mentioned, we will continue with the newcomers program for our new to us students from Afghan. So I guess really what's not also listed in here is that we're going to work with those folks all summer.
Right.
We're working with Shelby Pavelka and
Kelsey.
Kelsey. I'm sorry, Kelsey Pavelka and Sadiq. So that will, it's not listed in here, but those are some services and some programmings that we're going to offer all year, all summer for our newcomers. Dr. Bell also mentioned our continued partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. So this is more of I call it a day camp type of opportunity, and those fees are not covered by a Learning Loss Grant or the IDOE Summer School Grant, but those fees are paid to the Boys and Girls Clubs. Again, the Saturday Weekend Warrior Camp is offered for 4th through 7th grade students, so we will push that out for our students rising up through 7th grade. All right, our high school opportunities. High school opportunities, so our push to graduation. So that is a pretty intense 2 weeks that Chris and his team run at the high school, where we have 2 full weeks and a holiday that we push through. Angie Johnson and Chris Smith man 2 rooms all day, 8 to 4, and students can come in and work with those teachers to earn those last few credits before graduation on June the 6th. I think we even had we had a couple Saturdays we worked. I don't know if we worked Memorial Day, but we had a couple Saturdays where they came in and worked with kids. So, to get that close to the finish line and just need one more push to graduation. So we have our CHS in-person opportunities. We really are working to improve our in-person opportunities this year. We're going to do a bigger push for our in-person PE in addition to the band. Again, folks don't usually lose that PE credit, but again, it's one of those classes they can take off their plate and free up more opportunities during their school day. We started a physical conditioning class this year at the high school that is geared specifically for our student athletes, where they target not just fitness and wellness, but also intentional workouts for their specific sport. got a little pressure on our marching band this year. We'll have to see what they're going to pull out of there. I've heard some snippets of the summer already, so we'll keep that under wraps till
Dr.
later
Reynolds,
date.
quick question.
Yep.
The cost for marching band, do we have fundraising or a fund available for those students who are not able to manage that?
Yeah, so what they'll do is the band boosters will sponsor a number of different fundraisers for those kids to earn those fees to pay the boosters. They do ads for our band contest program, the old lovely trash bag sales, cheese and sausage. I think they do, but there's a number of items that they do that they fundraise to earn those fees. And I'll tell you too, that band booster group, if you've been to a football or basketball game, those are the guys and gals running those concession stands. So that they work tirelessly to provide for those kids. And I'll tell you, we've never precluded anyone from not being able to
Okay,
pay.
I just want to make certain.
Brittany Bells and I have made sure that we take care of you all at the concession stand, right?
That's right.
So if the boosters would want to at any point have an audience come to a board meeting, I mean, they do really fabulous work. And so I certainly, I would love to have the opportunity to recognize them if.
Absolutely. I tell you, there's a great group of folks that, they volunteer and parents come and go as their kids come and go, but we have a core group of that band booster group that has been a part of that organization. I don't know. Kids have graduated years ago, like 2008, and these kids their parents are still just helping us out. They love helping the kids, and it's a neat group.
Okay.
They love that dinner bell. You give them a tip, they ring the bell.
That's right.
for you.
They ring the dinner bell for you.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, some more in-person opportunities. Freshman launch, again, we've packaged this together to try to get our freshmen excited and ahead of the game as they enter high school. One of Chris' school improvement goals is his freshman class. That's 70% of those kids are on track after their freshman year, so that's at least 10 credits. He's hitting that mark. Those guys are working hard to make that happen. So this would be an opportunity for those folks to do that. They can come in person, grab PE or biology, and then the algebra and Spanish. So those are two critical classes that we only offer those if they attempted that credit in middle school. Those are foundational classes we don't want to rush through. However, if for some reason they did not hit those benchmarks in middle school to earn those credits, they have the opportunity to do a blended approach for algebra and Spanish, so they can get back on track to taking Spanish 2 and algebra 2 once they get to once they enter their freshman year. And then our CHS Summer Academy. So that is our virtual and blended approach to summer school at Central. Depending on need, I think we had 3 teachers manning that last year for our students. So students are afforded a full complement of I would call them our standard classes at the high school. Had really tremendous participation last year. Lots of students earned a number of credits, either in a recovery type of mode or a get ahead mode. So we'll continue to do that next year, this summer as well. And then finally, we partner with the Indiana Online Academy. So we do have some of those students that want to take advanced placement courses or dual credit or those advanced language courses. Those are outside of our catalog that we offer right now for online. So we partner with Indiana Online Academy to do that. And every year we have a few kids take advantage of that. It's not a lot, but the summer school grant funds allows us to cover those expenses for our kids. So again, another great opportunity for our students. We'll continue with the newcomers as we have mentioned. The Youth Writing Camp is offered through the high school as well. I think the comic book camp, yes, the comic book, I think camp stops at 8, but we'll have a journalism camp, which is new for the Indiana Writing Project, and then we'll offer again the youth poetry writing camp as well. We talked already about the mathematics exploration camp. Again, first year forward, kind of excited to see how folks snatch onto this, and you know, it's not only a good opportunity to work on your math skills, but you get to go out to Ball State and you kind of get submerged in that environment. Orientation camp is, we'll do that again for a 2-day, again, extended half-day opportunity. Kids come in, they learn all those scary things of the high school, meet Mr. Walker, they go to Camp Adventure, and they'll have a cookout and some team building activities out there. It's really a cool opportunity. And I think last year you had, I want to say it was about 190 of the 400 freshmen show up. So, I mean, it is well attended. And of course, the Boys and Girls Club will offer those day camps again up through 12th grade.
How do you incentivize teachers to want to?
Oh, that's a toughie. So, that will depend on our camps. So we're hopefully get this out early, get those opportunities to them early. We've talked about some incentive opportunities, about possibly giving them an additional bonus on their hourly rate to come in over the summer.
Especially like for I Read 3 camp, for, you know, our teachers, they're highly effective. They're the ones we really want to be in front of the kids during, you know,
We have the orientation camp, the summer band, our high school online academy. Those folks are in place. They really enjoy doing it. They're great at doing those things. So those aren't really issues finding staff for that. It's those early literacy camps right after school is out, and they're intense. They're 2 intense weeks where you're really focused on literacy.
We also are partnering with Ball State, and so with the professors at Ball State, they utilize their students, and they're going to be future educators, so that works really well for us also.
And then just for safety, like what does that safety look like? You know what I mean, for all these off-time medications.
Yeah, so you're looking at him, right? Mr. Dudley. So, typically in the summer, we have Mr. Dudley, or that position, you know, before him, it was Mr. Hensley that was still on the clock, that would visit our sites and do rounds every day. Typically, enrollment's pretty manageable, where you see a face that you don't recognize, you notice those pretty quickly.
And then
Elementary programs, and my intern, even on my week of vacation, my intern went to those programs and made sure people knew who we were and that we're checking in on the programs. And of course, our buildings are still locked. And then the writing camp, parents took their child in, and they were with the best response.
any questions for Dr. Reynolds or Dr. Bell regarding?
This has to be an incredible matrix in terms of scheduling and so forth. Who does all that? Do you do all this?
Yeah, Dr. Bell and I coordinate those, and it's only a 15-page color-coded sheet.
I mean, by the end of the day, I've been doing this. Yeah.
Well, in Ball State,
That's
through the
incredible.
Ball State Learning Loss Grant, they're hiring somebody to oversee just trying to get information out, because many of these projects are funded through that Learning Loss Grant. And so they'll also be putting information up and trying to coordinate that. And I know I see Walisha here tonight. Her role at Ball State is getting out into the communities and being able to help families understand more about these opportunities too.
That's incredible.
So again, the good partnership helps us tremendously.
So,
Thank you.
Mr. Klotz, would you be able to work with, and maybe you've already started this, getting, a press release would, I don't know how you condense it, again, given the numbers, but if we could get something out that we could also maybe get one or both of Dr. Reynolds and Dr. Bell on Stan Stollers in the morning. A lot of reasons, not the least of which is to highlight everything that's occurring at MCS, but just the more opportunities we have to reach students and families who may be interested or not know about, for whatever reason, the opportunities. So I assume, I don't know what we've done in the past in terms of broader publication within traditional media, but if we could do something like that as we move into April, I think it would be helpful to the community at large to see what is occurring and what's available.
Something else that we're doing when we have, like, Dia's organized the art show in May, and we have the pre-KK registrations, and so we're going to have booths set up at all of those for people to learn about camps and to sign up for camps. And so just multiple approaches trying to help families learn about it.
So those of you watching tonight on the stream or here, pass the word. This is a remarkable array of opportunities for the students in the community to pick up some of what has been lost these past couple of years. So, take advantage of this opportunity, because it as Dr. K has indicated, the window will close here in the next, 12 to 24 months, depending on circumstances. So please take advantage of this opportunity. I can remember when summer school was government, driver's ed, and PE. And that was it. So this is, certainly congratulations to, and thank you for the work that you all have done in putting this together. Really appreciate it. So, Dia, quick question. I had an opportunity to read the book. It's marvelous. I'm going to pass it around here in a second. So we're going to do a little plug, if that's okay. Written by Dr. Dia Bell, illustrated by Keith Ivey Jr. Is Keith here tonight?
Keith is not, and that's my bonus grandson.
Okay.
He's 21.
Well, the illustrations are gorgeous, and I can I just do one reading, brief reading? Will that embarrass you? Because it struck me as wonderful, and it's a warm feeling. Here's the photo. I love you more because you grew in my belly. And this is the part I just absolutely love. I love you more because you're as sweet as jelly. Isn't that? And so where can people get this? Amazon?
Yes, it is on Amazon.
Okay, any place else?
I have a box of about 300.
Her garage.
So, have you, Books A Million?
Not yet. My daughter's working on that marketing piece for me.
Okay.
How did you publish this? I mean, that's important as the book itself.
Well,
Come up to the microphone.
I don't get embarrassed, but it really is exciting, and thank you for the opportunity. And my daughter posted it on Facebook, and I thought, I better make sure my bosses know that this is getting ready to be out there. So I keep them informed on things that's going on. And so the book is really a dedication to my mother. And in the dedication page, my mother's birthday is this month. And she passed away in 2017, March of 2017. And every time hanging up, and I know it's more than you asked for, but I'll be brief, or leaving her, she always said, I love you more. And that part in the belly, and I'm like, Mom, you can't ever love me more. I'm the youngest of 4 girls. And she says, yes, I love you more because you grew in my belly. And so it really is, it really grows out of, my relationship and my love and for my mom, who was always my 100% supporter and pusher to, my academics. So 20 years ago, I shared with my children, at the time I only had 2 because Princeton's 17, but with Ashley and Gary that, you know what, and that 20 years ago, I was getting into administration. No, I was, teacher to administrator here in Muncie. And I said, I want to write children's books. I mean, I read all of these books. I read in my class. I buy books for gifts, but I want to do my own. And so life happens, other things go on, pursue my degree, got my kids through school. And not too long ago, I told Ashley, I have this idea. The words are coming. Before, I've written things down. I can't find it. It's somewhere in all my stacks of school papers. And so I start writing, and years ago, said my son Gary would illustrate. He's like, Mom, that artistic really is not like it was back then, but what about Keith, my grandson? So I called him, I gave him a list. He didn't read the book. I just told him, this is what I want per page. And he truly understood the assignment because he extended my expectations with the illustrations. And as a 21-year-old, he came to the house and said, okay, Mama, because they call me Mama, what do you want on this page? Well, this is what I'm thinking. And so it really turned out. But anyway, after doing some research, looking at YouTube and researching different authors, it said that you can have a publishing company publish it, but they take control of what's in the book. And I thought, no, this is from my heart. If we make money, great. But it's really from my heart. I just have to get the words on paper. And so I said, you know what? I'll start my own publishing company. So my daughter named it 4 Degrees Publishing, and that's a little funny family conversation that I probably shouldn't share. But I thought if anyone asked, where does that title come from? So it's my own publishing company, 4 Degrees Publishing. And to me, for the public conversation, is looking at my faith, my family, my profession, and my own education are the 4 areas. And so on the side, if you want to know what the family conversation was, because it was me fussing them out and saying, they can't get stuff past me because I am smarter than those 2 teenagers when I said that comment. So.
Well, the book's marvelous, and I would encourage anybody that's interested to get on Amazon, order it, or to get in touch with you. And you've got a couple, 300 or so in the basement. Okay. The colors are great. The illustrations are wonderful. The writing's good. So thank you for all the, bringing that to our attention. Well done. I didn't mean to sidetrack the summer programming. Okay. So do you need a motion to approve all these? Yes. Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Again, watching tonight, look into the summer programming. These opportunities are remarkable. So, okay, perfect. Timing was good. We are on to stadium and fieldhouse potential project. Is that Brad or?
Well, that might have just been.
You already gave a little bit of an update about that.
Okay, I'm relieved.
That might have been last week's reminder,
Okay,
month's
okay.
reminder. We're just, obviously, we're getting ready to start on that journey.
Okay. Andy Klotz on the marketing and branding, which I know there's been quite a few emails. Thank you, board members who gave feedback to Andy. I appreciate it. Branding is not my thing.
Yes,
so
thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I will try to be brief because you have seen the material already, and so let me just say that that this project goes back to, I believe, shortly after the partnership was created with Ball State, and there's been talk of rebranding the district just about ever since then. And so now here we are a few years later, and we've been working now on this project for the past few months. We've been working with an agency called One Point out of Anderson, so they've been great to work with. And we've really been trying to symbolize the new approach that the school district has and update the look and the feel of Muncie Community Schools, and maybe elevate the school identities more than has been with the current system, with the current branding in place. So with that, really our goals are to update things, to promote school identities, and really to make sure that people understand that we're a school of unity, that a district of unity that has the community behind it, and where we do indeed place learners first. So let me see if I can operate this. So let's take a look real quickly at the current challenges of where we are with our look. And a logo is just part of what your brand is. And as you can tell, you see the district brand up in the right-hand corner, the block M with the script writing, and the block M is the constant throughout all of the schools. So you really have what is called here a branded house, and that means that the district is the brand, and it permeates through everything, and the identities of the schools are a little bit lesser to a degree. And the problems that people would maybe argue with this is that the parent brand is not always as important as having that individual school identity. And particularly when you get into different usages of this particular logo and all these logos, the script is not easy to read, it's hard to work with. I'm not sure where these were originally developed, but we don't know what any of these colors are, and they're not very distinct from all the different schools. And you do want actually specific colors, because when you use them across different platforms, you get various shades, and that's not best practices. So for all those reasons, and this other big reason is that we've got the blue M for the district. We want to align with our signature school, Muncie Central High School. And so that's a big driver to align that and get us to the same purple that Muncie Central has been using for years and years. So I talked about the branded house. We are looking at maybe going to the endorsed house, because that will, again, allow for that big school identity to come up a little bit more than just the district, although that will be consistent, as every school and the district will use consistent typography and have a consistent look. But the schools will definitely be more prominent, and there will be more use of mascots and those school colors with the individual schools. And yet we will also try and use a tagline or the district mark to keep things consistent. So what is out there right now, and how do we compare? There are a number of logos from area districts, and you can see there's a wide variety. We have some similarities to a couple of them, but a couple are progressive and modern, and some others look pretty dated as well. And I'll just leave it at that. So that's what's out there right now. And here are some of the options that the agency has been working on, and a brief explanation of what they've come to us with. And this option it's certainly circular, so it indicates some motion. Those are actually representative of people in motion, and that there's a movement, an energy, and it also represents interdependence while also being part of a team. I know that sometimes you can read a lot into these things, but they do research on a lot of this stuff. And so that was one option. This was another option presented to us, and it emphasizes Muncie a little bit more. Very easy to read, stands out, maybe not so far out or progressive, but if you do happen to see it, even before you read it up there, that part of the M could symbolize an open book, which many people may find attractive as well. So that was another option presented to us. And then there was this one that is a little bit more unique. It certainly stands out from some of the more conservative options that we've seen and that the others were presented. And it really is meant to represent people coming alongside and a joint effort to support students at all levels. It maybe speaks a little bit more directly to placing learners first. And one of the things that personally I think is kind of cool about it is that you do see it as an M. It is in the form of an M as well, so we can use that in a number of different ways. And so you all had this document for a little bit, and then I got some feedback, and Mr. Lowe presented me with some ideas that, that we try to incorporate a couple of those options. And so this was actually me playing around just a little bit, but this seems to be maybe we got some good feedback on this option as well, combining that aspect of unity and placing learners first, but also keeping Muncie prominent. So, so those would be 4 different options, and then we can quickly race through how they look in comparison to the other district logos in the area. Certainly some of these stand out a lot more, and there are some that, especially since Marion is also purple, it looks a little more similar to that. Whether or not that's good or bad would be up to you. And then, again, this one a little bit more progressive in 2 different formats there, even though it's the same mark. That symbol would be what we refer to as a mark. And let me say that I've been part of some rebrands before and some logo developments, and I would be utterly shocked if I got everybody in this room, well, just at the tables, on the same page with this is the best logo and let's do that. I'm really not looking for that. I don't think that's necessarily plausible, but if we can find something that that really stands for what we stand for, then I think we're on the right track. And so I also wanted to just show you how they would fit in an endorsement arrangement as a mark with the identity of the school. So they pulled out Muncie Central with each of the options. And we can, again, adjust some of these. We can adjust typeface. We can adjust spacing and alignment and all those things. But you will see how it's got MCS tied to the school individually in the fine print, if you will. And then we've got this one that would really fit both. And what I would think about doing, as I mentioned, I think before, is to maybe even instead of just having it be MCS, we could consider using our tagline, which is something that some districts will do too, and incorporating the mark right along with placing learners first. So there are some different things we can do, but those are some of the options. And then to summarize real quickly, those would be what we're looking at right now. And this is actually a second wave of logos that had been designed for us. So we've been looking at this for a little while. And I'm sorry to race through that all so quickly, but you've seen it before, and I don't want to take too much time, and would be open to any feedback or any questions that I might be able to answer.
So what's the process from here?
Really, we just need to make a decision. And I should mention as well, we're not looking at going full steam ahead and swapping everything out by a hard deadline. What the plan would be to gradually implement a new branding in no-cost and low-cost areas. And then as time and budget allows, then we're looking at new signage or some bigger items that maybe would require some budget. And we're not talking, also let me be clear, we're not talking about, you know, one of these on the side of the football helmet. Coach Paget might be interested to find out. This is for, you know, your materials online, your print materials that go out, the swag that maybe we create, the signage that we'll have, booths at different events and that kind of thing. So it's not got anything to do with school uniforms or anything like that.
He's saying that because of me. I was like, how will that look on a helmet? It's like, Leanne, it's not going on a helmet.
So any feedback from students, the Student Advisory Committee or?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, can you take this to the Student Advisory Committee and maybe send it out to teachers for their feedback?
We have not talked about that. It can be done, and I'm not opposed to that at all. I do think the more people you ask, the more opinions you get. So, so I'm not saying that it isn't great to have more feedback, but I don't expect that would, again.
It's not going to congeal, but. No. So, Nora, you're on the Student Advisory Committee, right? Yes. You interested in seeing some logos?
Great.
Okay, why don't we send them to Student Advisory Committee for a start and just get some feedback. I can tell you that you could have a logo, no logo, do it's not going to matter to me. I mean, so my story is that Rod Carew, who played for the Minnesota Twins, for the life of me, I didn't know what the Minnesota Twins logo was until I was well into my adult years. Does anybody even remember the Minnesota Twins?
Twin Cities.
Twin Cities, right?
Twin Cities
Yeah.
over the river.
I was like 40 or something by the time I figured out that I just thought Rod Carew, you know, he had a T and a C on there. I didn't. So for me, at least, you can pick one. Now, others may feel strongly.
Just the only reason I resonated to the fourth option is I think Muncie needs to be bold. It needs to stand out and make a statement. Because if you look at those others that you've showed, some of those, I don't know whose city it is.
Yeah, and with all due respect to Brad's former employer, Jay County Schools, you know, that's got a dated look to it.
We swiped that off the internet.
Yeah. Anderson, I can't tell what Anderson is.
Right.
But again, with all due respect to the Anderson folks watching tonight.
It's a headdress.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Did you see the H with Hamilton Southeastern?
No.
I didn't see the H either, but Chuck saw the H right away.
So the people, are those representative people?
Correct.
On the M?
Yes.
I didn't see the M.
You don't see the M?
I didn't. I do now.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I initially saw it, I said, "Oh, we're putting stick people next to Muncie Community Schools. That's nice." I didn't see the M.
What about when it's the M in Muncie?
Which one?
That one right there.
I picked it up. Yes, I mean I did pick it up, but it's just not something I focus on. So the rest of you and Nora,
coming from an attorney.
Now, hey Beth, before you get out of here, Beth, before you get out of here, I want to recognize you real quick. You're running away on us. Oh, okay. Beth is retiring after 39 years of amazing service and never misses a meeting. The event is March 24th, 4 to 7 at Kennedy, right? Okay. So congratulations and thank you for everything that you've done. Sorry, and I didn't mean to rudely stop you from leaving. So.
No, if you have other questions or feedback,
Yeah.
then please just.
Okay, let's involve the Student Advisory Committee at a minimum and get some feedback. And then, do you guys have a recommendation on how you make a final call? Again, somebody who.
This is more Chuck Reynolds lane than Leanne. Like you, Jim, I have trouble understanding a bunch of those too.
So Dr. Reynolds, Andy, will you guys come up with a proposal for how we finalize this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. We are all having fun now. We have an individual here who, can you do it in 2 minutes? Yep, come on up.
Hello, Matt Pfeiffer, substitute teacher here in Muncie Community Schools. Just checking in to see where we're progress that could have been made since the last time I spoke about the Handle with Care program. So just like an update if possible on that. We recollect what the program was about?
I do.
I can go into details
So,
about it again.
Why don't we put you in touch with who?
So I think Jenny Smithson,
Yeah.
did you reach out to Jenny Smithson?
No, I wasn't quite sure, and I know my board member with MPD's never heard anything since then, so I'm just wanting to follow up.
So I apologize about that. So when the meeting's over, meet with me and let me get your information, okay?
Great, yeah, and then I did want to just thank you guys for giving us a raise for substitute teaching. I've really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I was unable to do that. I've been in Colorado for helping with the foster care program for a little bit, and I started actually subbing for Jeffco schools, so it's 158 schools, so quite a bigger system, and they pay me 150, so got a little spoiled over there a day. But an idea that they do is like anybody who teaches 61 to 90 assignments per year, they bump the pay up by $10. So just an idea in the future, just trying to incentivize people to come back and sub more often. I know for Uber, when I drive, if I do like 10 rides in a week, then they give me like $40 extra or whatever. So
That's
just
great.
an idea.
Dylin is working on some ideas right
Okay.
now, so
Okay.
So what do they
she's
call
coming
that
up
in
with
Uber? Is that some sort of premium?
Yeah, promotion. Yeah, that's what they call it. It's like a promotion. So I know
Okay.
right now I'm working on 40 rides this week and I get 115 extra.
So Jeffco, Jefferson County, Colorado?
Yes.
Okay,
it's
so
out-
Denver?
Denver, yeah, Columbine, all those schools on the
Okay.
west side.
Okay.
So southwest.
Well, yeah, we're not going to be able to match
No,
that.
I know. Trust me, I know. Yeah, 80,000 students. So
Just so we're on the same
they have a
page.
bigger budget. I understand. Yes,
Okay.
totally understand. But like a $5 extra maybe. Yeah, that's
Tell Jeffco that we can't.
Yeah, I can't match up. That's okay. I still love the students and getting to know the students here, so I'll continue
Okay.
doing that for.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. Okay, we're on dialogue of the board. This is my last meeting for a bit because I have a surgery coming up in early April. So, did you know that, Dr. O'Neill, did you know that you're running the next couple?
I know now.
Giving you a bit of a heads up.
All right.
So, if you will do that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. This is great fun. I mean, it really is. And I sense that, there's a lightning to, and much needed lightning to things, and let's hope and pray that continues as we wind our way towards the end of the academic year. If there are things that I know that Comp Committee, for the benefit of our faculty, Comp Committee is going to meet again to address compensation. I believe Dr. K will be reaching out to Dr. O'Neill, Mr. Heater, and Mr. Irvin, and we've mixing that up. I'm stepping back this year, so I think one of you two will need to, or one of you three will need to chair that.
I think Dave is.
Okay, Dave's going to chair it. So we will be looking to do an adjustment to compensation. The legislature is winding up their session. So we'll report out on any legislation that is affecting MCS in the near term or long term. Is there anything else that we need to address, Ms. Bales?
I have a quick ask. If we could get an attendance report as we move into finding a new normal. I know that particularly at the secondary level, attendance has been an issue for our students. And so if we could get that so we can try to find creative ways to get students back in school regularly and support our teachers, because I know that's been so hard.
I can send that to you
somehow
right when
brainstorm.
this meeting's over, because Tony just put together some data for us. We're working on a grant and attendance, that's one of our issues. And looking at last year we had a significant drop at the high school compared to previous years. And I know this year it's the very same.
Yeah, I know we've been very gracious with COVID, but I would love to see some normalcy return and some structure for our students so that we can support their mental health and also this learning loss that we keep talking about, but more so too to support our teachers. I know it's hard to teach a lesson when you've only got half your kids there every day. So if we could just start us and maybe some of our master teachers brainstorming some ways to get those kids back at school regularly.
And that's something else as we work on a school improvement grant. We know that's one of our areas of need. So how do we get some resources in to help with that too?
Awesome. Thanks.
So glad you brought that up. And I wish it was easy as just telling everybody who's observing that just you get your kids to school, get to school. Yeah. To use, my dad saying 90% of success is just showing up, just showing up. So please, please, please. I understand the last couple of years have been difficult and unique in all sorts of unprecedented ways, but we, for everyone's sake, most of all those students, we got to get back to regular attendance. So, anybody else? Thank you for raising that. Anything else? So,
I do have one comment.
Sure.
But we're remiss in not saying this. We don't say this enough. The reason we're being successful is the leadership in this room.
yeah.
I mean, it's remarkable. And we're losing one. But the leadership in this room makes us successful. And we don't say that enough. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Phelps.
Yes.
Mrs. Phelps, what are the plans? What are the plans?
You know, my husband's been retired for 5 years, and he's probably sad I'm coming back home. And, we're just going to visit grandkids that live in East Lansing, and we won't have to have a time to come back.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do some traveling, and we can just kind of go and come.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've given her some ideas, but she's rejected them so far. We think she'd be a great hallway walker at Southside Middle School.
We would give, if you were to do that a few days, we'd give you one of those bumps he was talking about. We'll get you an Uber bump. So, well, we absolutely wish you the very best. And for Mrs. Crane, Ms. Crane, who's watching, if she is watching, and if anybody has a chance to talk to her, please let her know that I so admire her service and for such, over a half a century. It's remarkable. Anything else for the good of the order from anybody? Okay. Are we at the end? Do we have any media folks here tonight? Okay. So, yep. Looking forward to it. Yep. So, thank you.
Wear your smoker's jacket in too.
I've got it. Actually, I'm going to call Gary Moore and see if I can borrow that sport coat. Yeah, so I can have that just as a backup. So, okay. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Adjourn. Thank you.